Are you thinking about buying or selling a home, or just want to know what might be going on with one of your biggest investments? Then come hang out with us for a little while. Hi, I'm Kirk Duckwall, and welcome to the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Welcome everyone, thank you for joining us today. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about real estate terms and definitions. Stick around for that. I know it doesn't sound like the most exciting topic in the world out of the gate, but we're going to be covering lots of things such as appraisal gap coverage, escalation clauses, escrow terms, all the different terms regarding around that, closing costs, some of the biggest misconceptions out there about that. So yeah, it should be a really good show. Would like to welcome Jilly Jenkins. Thank you for coming in today.
Hi guys.
Hey Jilly.
I think this is going to be a great show.
Yes.
Super educational.
Absolutely.
Yes, I remember my brother, back when we do the radio show, I mentioned this topic, and he's like, oh no, this is not going to be great. It's going to be kind of boring. I'm like, and then we did it, and it's like, oh, that was a really good show.
Very helpful.
Right? Yeah. So, yeah, make sure you stick around for that. Chad Priebe, also thank you for coming in today.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
We're going to be
good to see both of you.
Hitting on, and there's been some changes to the market. Let's jump into some of the trends and stats in the marketplace. We'll kick it right out of the gate with rates. There's been some movement there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of movement over the last 30 days.
Right. Key word we've been talking a lot about lately is volatility. And if you look up the definition of volatility, sharp up changes. So ups and downs, and that's what we're seeing right now. So, you know, ultimately, in the big picture, we're still historically low considering. Now, that being said, if you are pre-approved right now at your max price point at a rate that you were quoted, let's say a month ago or even 2 weeks ago, you want to make sure you're communicating with your loan officer to make sure that you still qualify for that amount. Now, rates on a 30-year conventional with a 740 credit score on a single-family residence, we're looking anywhere between 3.99 to 4.25 today. Now, we know that changes on a daily basis.
Yeah, by the time the show airs, that might change.
It's been a little
everything changes daily, right?
Correct.
I've been doing weekly check-in with my clients.
Good idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's all about communication. You guys know that, but for you out there as a consumer or even an agent that's watching, make sure you're communicating with your clients on their approval status.
Yep. Talking about stats, new listings into the marketplace, not a whole lot of change when we compare it to last year. There was a little uptick week over week, but this year it's been relatively flat. So 1,100 listings 2 weeks ago. This last week, 1,104 listings.
Yeah, we got four more properties on that market.
Four
Kirk.
more properties, yeah. And then who knows? You know, when they go dig through the data, because sometimes we see when we look back even farther that those numbers change a little bit. It could be just completely flat as far as we know. So, where are we seeing pending sales at, Jilly?
Well, right now we are down a little over 15% from last year. That obviously is part of what do we have for inventory,
yes.
New listings coming on. But we have current activity for last week, 964 went pending. Year before was a little under 1,200. So.
Yeah, and week over week, we did see an uptick with the pending sales as well. And I know we were talking before the show that, you know, with inventory, that it has taken traditionally until April before we've seen that number start to move up, at least when we look at last year. And it wasn't honestly until June of last year that we saw big weekly movements of, 500 or 600 gain in inventory. So talking about that inventory of homes for sale, 4,551 is where it was at, down to 4,469. So another week where it's dropped off. So,
and for inventory, actually was at the housing capital yesterday, and they said that they're kind of clocking it right now at we need at least 6,000 more properties on the market for it to be kind of a more even playing
a stable
field.
market. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of what I was predicting about 10,000 listings out there. It'd be really interesting to see where this market goes, right now, because, I mean, they're only adding houses out there right now, right? With the homes being built, and you'd think we would see numbers revert back closer to what we saw in maybe 2019 as far as listings coming into the marketplace. But that just really hasn't been the case. And it's that low inventory that's keeping that showings per listing average up. That did move up again. We had that slight drop off. It did pick back up. It is at a 9.17, which is keeping our market meter at that 10. And we can probably predict that we'll stay in that strong extreme sellers market range for the next 30 days plus and see how that pans out. As always, you can catch all of our past shows at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. We're going to take a quick commercial break and be right back. Our local sponsors are BRIX Real Estate, Network Title, Eric Bloomstrad and Chad Priebe with Bell Bank Mortgage, Structure Tech Home Inspections, James Tufson with Country Financial, along with Cregan's Construction and Grey Duck Staging and Design.
Hi, I'm Ruben with Structure Tech Home Inspections. Everyone knows you should have a home inspection before you buy a home, but we've heard of home buyers being encouraged to skip the home inspection in this crazy market to make their purchase offer more attractive. Now they're facing tens of thousands of dollars in unexpected repairs. I'm telling you now, don't skip the home inspection. Here at Structure Tech, we can get your home inspected quickly, and we offer a full line of services. Visit us online at structuretech.com to learn more.
Don't fall for the billboards or the clickbait. There is no such thing as today's rate. Mortgages and mortgage rates are individual to you. Chad Priebe and Eric Bloomstrand with Bell Bank Mortgage are here to show you the formula to get your best rate. Once you know this formula, you can mortgage shop with confidence. Find us online at chadpriebe.com. That is chadpriebe.com. NMLS 1462493, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Kirk Duckwall with BRIX Real Estate and the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Buying or selling a home is one of the biggest financial transactions people make. Before you make your next move, download our free Smart Home Buyer or Smart Seller guides to give you the edge in our real estate market. From deal hunting to knowing the right repairs for maximizing value, these free guides have it all. Check them out and more at BRIXTwinCities.com under publications. Welcome back to the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Today, we're going to be talking about real estate terms and definitions. We're going to be breaking down some of the kind of biggest misconceptions sometimes as far as what people think something may be versus what it actually is. So that's kind of what I picked from as far as the pool.
I like it.
Keep in mind, most of the stuff we're going to be talking about, a lot of them are broken down as well in the Smart Home Buyer and the Smart Seller guides. You can go to TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com and just click on publications there. You can find the Smart Home Buyer, the Smart Seller, the BRIX report, all on there, as well as all of our past shows. So, yeah, as I mentioned, this topic I had done a radio show a few years back with my brother, and it seemed like, oh, is this going to be exciting? And at the end, it was one of the better ones I think that we did, because we broke down a lot of things that people didn't necessarily have the best grasp of. So let's start out with a favorite, appraisal.
Yeah.
Okay, appraisal, right? What is an appraisal? Okay, a lot of people, sellers and buyers alike, think it is what is the market value,
Right.
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And that's just not the case. They'll be like, a seller will, hey, should I go hire an appraiser to figure out what my home is worth in today's market? And that will not get you to where the value is for that time, because an appraiser is always a look back in history.
Yeah.
So if the market's moving up, the appraisals are going to be a little bit behind sometimes, right?
Yep.
And if the market's moving down, the appraisals might be a little higher,
Yep,
right?
exactly.
And so an appraisal is basically risk assessment to the bank,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
And if it was market value, they wouldn't lend at all if it ever came in low, but it has more to do with your down payment and
Correct.
how that's all put together. So
And an appraisal for my clients always ask, well, if they're the sellers, are we going to get to see it? Or if they're the buyers, well, are the sellers going to get to see it? So, I mean, it's the buyer's property
Yep.
because they pay for it,
Correct.
but it's also the bank's property.
yep.
Correct.
Yeah, but the sellers, they don't get it unless it's offered up for a situation that it needs to be knowledge for everyone.
Correct. Situation like maybe a low appraisal, or maybe there's some editing errors on the there are some errors that we need edited on that report, we do want to share that out.
Yep.
It's not like, us as the bank say, hey, no one can see this but us. I mean, it is the buyer's property because they own it or they paid for it. But you hit a couple key points, Kirk, and it is a risk assessment to the bank. And a key word on an appraisal says opinion of value, right? Because each appraiser, they mainly use the same tools to determine that value, but they have different opinions how they came up with that decision. So it can be tricky and it's hard to understand, but if you guys have any questions on that, we're always here for you.
So on that note, appraisals being a risk assessment, opinion of value for the bank, we are seeing what's called appraisal gap coverage, right? Appraisal guarantees. This is something, if you're a seller or a buyer, you're going to hear about this. So what is this? It's basically if there is a deficiency between where the appraisal is and where the market value is. And again, a lot of these times, market value, there might be 5, 6, 10 offers at this point here, even though the appraisal's coming in.
Like the offer that was accepted up here might have had several that were around that same point, like you said. And then the market opinion, the
appraisal,
might be different.
So
no, you're right.
They are bringing, extra cash or offering to bring extra cash to the table if there is that gap that comes in there.
Correct. That's a big one to understand.
Out of pocket.
Yes.
It's not coming from a mortgage.
I was just going to say that. If you're going to do that, just make sure you're communicating with your loan officer and your agent on that additional cash flow.
So talked about appraisal gap coverage. Let's talk about closing costs. And, we aren't seeing so much these days. I mean, 3 years ago, maybe, right? A lot more finance closing costs that we would see on offers. But this can create confusion, especially today, right? You have people going out to buy a home and they're talking to relatives or friends who bought a home a few years ago. We got the seller to pay the closing costs. And I use those quotes there because the seller really isn't like cutting a check at the closing table, right?
Correct.
They're financing the closing costs into their loan. The way that I like to talk about this is, let's say you're buying a $100,000 condo, if that actually existed, right? Right, $100,000 condo, and you want to roll your closing costs in, so you may offer $103,000 and ask the seller to pay the 3% in closing costs. Right. But at the end of the day, you could have just offered $100,000 and paid the cash out of pocket, right?
Correct.
And then sometimes, usually, like when I do the classes, I'll get smart person raising their hand and go, "Well, no, I want to offer the $100,000 to get the seller to pay." Well, yeah, you could have just offered $97,000,
correct,
and then just paid the $3,000 cash out of pocket,
right?
So at the end of the day, if you're putting it into the offer, you're financing it into your loan, basically,
correct,
right? So.
And it's
very misused term in the market.
Yep.
Very.
It's not an easy thing to do to have sellers cover closing costs for a buyer in our current market.
Yes.
Correct.
Yep.
Now 5 years ago.
Well, it raises that appraisal risk.
It does,
right?
Yep. Because even though a seller is going to accept for that $100,000 we're talking about, they're going to accept the $103,000, so then it's covered.
Yeah.
It has to appraise at that.
Right. Yep.
And so now it's a little bit more risk for the sellers to accept an offer where that's rolled into the mortgage.
Correct.
So it's hard in this market.
Yep. It's a tougher
Jilly.
one.
Yep.
And then we have, and this kind of goes with closing costs, what are closing costs, right? It's a loan origination fee. It is title fees. It's
appraisal,
recording fees, appraisal, and then prepaids. This is another good one, right?
Yeah.
Prepaids.
I'll explain that. So the prepaids is basically you're prepaying your escrow account, right? So prepaids, escrow / savings is what I want you to think about, a savings account specifically put in place for your property taxes and homeowners insurance. Now, that's if you don't put 20% down on your mortgage, you are required to do an escrow account. I don't know many people that don't do it anyways, because again, it's a savings account.
It's a safety net.
Correct.
You don't have
You'll
to budget.
pay more money in like convenience fees or whatever to pay it on your own.
You really
each
will.
time. Yeah, or for the postage stamp.
Yeah.
Then you're saving.
Yeah, when the county sends you that tax bill, your first half taxes, let's say for $2,500, if you're not saving for that, that's a big hit on your your financials. But
risk of losing your house by not paying your taxes.
Yeah, so preparing yourself, saving for those taxes and insurance. Now, closing costs and prepaids, even though they're separate, we put them under one umbrella under closing costs for total out-of-pocket costs.
Yep. So you mentioned this word escrow, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is one of those words that in Minnesota, like if somebody coming in from out of state, you'll hear.
It's different.
You'll hear the term, and so you'll hear people say, "Well, is this house in escrow?" Well, basically, that is what we would call pending.
Pending here.
Right? Where a house is moving on into title work, clearing inspection.
So
whatever,
pending
right?
is essentially after you're done with all contingencies except for the financing, right?
Yep.
You kind of have everything removed. You had to have all these hurdles in order to get to that point, and now you're at pending, same as escrow.
Right.
In
So
other-
it's kind
in
of
other
the
states.
pop soda thing.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Good way to look
so-
at it.
Duck,
Yeah.
duck, gray duck.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We are a pending state.
We are a
not
pending
an
state.
escrow
Yeah.
state.
But escrow does mean something here,
Yes.
right? So escrowing for taxes,
Taxes and
escrowing
insurance.
for insurance, which means putting money aside. The other area that it takes place is if, let's say, there's a repair to be done.
Yes.
Escrowing for a repair, right?
Correct.
That we're putting that money aside to take care of after closing, right?
So I've had a client in the past where they were new builds, supposed to have sod. Can't sod in winter in Minnesota, right?
Surprise, surprise.
So you kind of have to have generally a 1.5 times what the estimate is for cost, escrowed. In that case, it was held by the title company. It can be held by the lender, right? And that is held until that is done, paid out, and then a check's cut to whoever is owed any additional funds.
Correct. And the reason they hold more than the actual cost of the job to be completed is, let's
What if
say,
it gets more expensive?
well, yeah, that, and we want to protect you as the buyer from, let's say, the seller's responsibility is to do these seasonal updates, right, in the spring. Well, let's say that seller is no longer available. We can't find them.
They took off.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen often, but it can. But that gives you a security blanket.
They ran to one of those states that uses escrow
Yeah.
instead of pending.
So yeah, escrow for work completion, right?
Yeah.
That's a big thing in Minnesota in the winter time.
Yeah.
So you mentioned clearing contingencies,
Yeah.
right? Well, contingent means a whole lot of things
There are
here.
so
does.
many contingencies.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can make up a contingency specific to your own purchase. You know, I have had documents that were not supposed to be done, governmental documents. Hey, this offers contingent until we get those government documents. You know, like it can be anything.
Right. So contingent sale, contingent offer, a contingency, right? So what is this? Just basically means something needs to be cleared before it's officially moving forward, right? That's the short and sweet of it. So a contingent sale would be that the sale it has to go through inspection before that sale is going to move forward.
So if you have an inspection on the property, have to have that contingency removed before you can buy the house.
Or contingent upon the sale of
Your current
current property, the buyer's current property, right? So the buyer has to sell their house before they can then move forward and put it into that pending status.
And that's
right?
common right now that we're dealing with, where they need that funding
Yep.
for their previous home to buy the new one.
And we have tools to help you with that.
And then we can talk about like a contingent offer, right? So we mentioned contingent sale, the same thing, right? I'm making an offer on a property that is contingent on me selling this place, right? Not just already accepted, right?
Correct.
And then we have contingency, which could be like the financing contingency, right? That these things have to clear. The appraisal has to come in and everybody comes to terms before we can fully move forward on that.
There are a zillion contingencies. You buy in an HOA.
Yes,
Right of
yep,
rescission
right.
contingency.
You were reading my mind.
Oh, were
yes. The HOA docs are important, right? You don't
Yeah.
ever want to move forward without reading those documents or having someone review those for you.
And they can be a lengthy read, but do it.
Yeah, yes.
Yes, make sure you're looking through that. That's
Absolutely.
for sure.
Don't remove that contingency until you understand the rules.
Correct.
And the finances.
Correct.
Let's talk about making an offer.
Big
right?
one. Yes.
Yeah. You know, so I've run into people of all age groups, right, and similar misconceptions when it comes to making an offer, right? And agents, right? So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, can you make an offer verbally and a handshake? Yeah, you can. Is that going to get you really anywhere, showing, you know, what they're really putting out for terms? Not so much.
No.
It's not in the best interest.
Security. There's very little security in a verbal.
Right.
When it boils down to legalities of it.
Right.
I've had clients get burnt and heartbroken over that verbal piece.
Oh, yeah.
It is absolutely, do not do that.
You know, as a buyer's representative, as a seller's representative, you want to make that offer or you want to see that offer as a written offer.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
Because then it shows the power of what you're putting forward or what you're
Exactly.
looking at.
Exactly.
Because, yeah, I mean, the number of times I've heard, oh, yeah, we're looking at making an offer, I'd say 1 in 5 actually puts it on paper.
Correct.
Right? So purchase agreement or making an offer, written offer being delivered.
And
right?
the purchase agreement is like our sanctioned government forms with state of Minnesota. We have some federal
Association forms. Yep.
Association forms. They're forms that we got to fill out.
Yep.
Now, I have a question on that. So if I make an offer, if I drop a purchase agreement with my agent, if I make an offer, am I obligated to that offer?
What do you mean as far as like?
Just by making an offer, let's say. Does that mean?
Well, you have your contingencies, right?
Okay.
Right.
There we go.
You're going to step into your inspection contingency more than likely, and yeah. So you have this kind of cool down time to you know, get your ducks in a row and go through that inspection, see if that's really the right house.
Right. It's just an
and the
offer,
right condition.
not an accepted offer.
That is correct.
Okay.
Right. An offer is just that. It's an offer, right? As we
Correct.
talk about in the class.
Yep.
Got a minute left. I mean, so many terms that I could go through here.
Yeah,
Another one that's kind of important today. This answer a little bit directed at agents, escalation clauses.
Yeah.
Right. What is it? You're making an offer, basically saying, I will beat the next offer by X dollar amount. Right.
With a cap off.
With a cap. Typically, there are some. I've seen uncapped escalation clauses. Yeah. Yep.
I have not used uncapped.
That's a
So-
risky one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's basically saying, I mean, so for sellers out there, you know, hey, if an escalation clause is being presented to you, that could be a really good thing, right? Hey, this is $5,000 more than anybody else is going to offer. And some people will go, well, why not just put your best foot forward? A lot of buyers want to know that they're within the realm of what other people are bidding as well.
Absolutely.
They don't want to
fair.
they want to go back to that fair market value or close to. All right, thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you, Jilly, Chad, for
Guys.
coming in.
Thank you.
Not every title company is the same. There are many people involved with each real estate transaction, and all of them need to be in the loop or a closing may get delayed. This is why the people at Network Title strive to provide swift scheduling and communication between the buyers, sellers, agents, and lenders. We know moving can be stressful, however, your closing does not need to be. Check us out online at network-title.com.
My name is James Tobson with Country Financial. Anyone can sell you insurance. However, is it going to be the insurance you need? When life pops up with its surprises, you want the right coverage. When it comes time to find or renew your policy, give me a call. I would love to review your existing policy and show you what I can do for you. You can email me at james.tobson@countryfinancial.com or give me a call at 651-365-3408.
Hi, I'm Becca, owner of Grey Duck Staging. With today's home buyers beginning their journey exclusively online, the look and feel of your home matters more than ever. Whether it's a simple in-home consultation, a refresh using your current furniture, or a whole home staging, our goal is always the same: showing your home in the best light and helping you achieve the highest sales price possible. To learn more, visit us at greyduckstaging.com or check us out on Instagram at greyduckstaging.
Welcome back to the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Got a couple of Space Source listings, the Space Source team at BRIX Real Estate, to highlight this week. 1246 Seminary Avenue in St. Paul. This is a 3-bed, 1-bath, 1-car garage, 1,300 square feet for $300,000. This has an updated kitchen as well as an updated bath with heated floors. I know that those would come in handy this last winter.
Yeah.
And this is listed by Johnny Kiernan, and then one by my brother listed, 500 Robert Street North. This is unit 417, a good big 1-bedroom condo. 1,025 square feet for $209,000. This is really close to the Lunds Byerly's down there, light rail as well as CHS Field. Again, both those listings by the Space Source team, BRIX Real Estate. Hopefully you found our definitions and terms.
We'll have to do like a volume 2.
Oh yeah, I mean, we
we
made
could
it
have
through
volume
half
3.
of them.
Yeah.
We could go for a while on those.
I feel like we could do a whole episode just on appraisal
Yes.
definitions and
Absolutely.
information.
Bring your pen and piece of paper.
Yep, that and the whole offer, all the terms in the offer.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, you can catch all of our past shows at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com, and there you can also find our great free publications. We'll see you all next week. People always ask realtors, what is your commission? But what they should be asking is, what is your rate of return? Commissions only vary by a couple of % from agent to agent. However, the price per square foot you get just based on their experience and the quality of marketing they use can vary by 10% or more. At BRIX Real Estate, our agents use the right marketing and have the experience to get you top dollar for your house. See what we can do for you at BRIXTwinCities.com.
Not every title company is the same. There are many people involved with each real estate transaction, and all of them need to be in the loop or a closing may get delayed. This is why the people at Network Title strive to provide swift scheduling and communication between the buyers, sellers, agents, and lenders. We know moving can be stressful, however, your closing does not need to be. Check us out online at network-title.com.
You can catch us across all your devices, whether that's on TV on the CW23 Saturday mornings at 6:30 or KSTC Saturday mornings at 6, on the radio at AM 950 Sundays at noon, also on YouTube or Facebook by just typing in Twin Cities Real Estate Show, or you can also podcast us anytime, again, by typing in Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Don't forget to check us out online anytime at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. There you can find all of our past shows, our weekly market updates, along with the latest and greatest searching and researching tools, and our free publications, to include the Smart Home Buyer Guide and the Smart Seller Guide, along with the BRIX Report. All of these free for you. If you have any real estate questions, please feel free to give us a call, 651-303-0019. Again, 651-303-0019. Happy to help answer any of your real estate questions or assist with your real estate needs.